Hey, what's going on? My name's Daniel McLaughlin and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Well, it's been a couple of months since I've posted, but not for good reason. I've been a little bit busy, a lot of stuff going on, one of which is that I moved into a new place. This is my YouTube studio, this is my music studio where I got a lot of work done. In this video, we're gonna be doing a little bit of a studio tour. There are some cool things happening right here, in addition to the nice backdrop behind me in the blur. And then afterwards, I've got a couple cool things to talk about. We hit 1,000 subscribers, so I want to tell you guys what's coming up next, and then a couple cool plans for some future videos. So make sure to stick around, but for now, let's go ahead and get into the studio tour. All right, here we are in my studio room. This is a broad shot of what you were just looking at on the other side. Before we start looking at this, let's talk about over here. First of all, on this wall here, I have a aptly named the Chad Smith drum head. Chad Smith, have a great summer. This is a forgery that my roommates and I made back a couple years ago, just as a little joke, and now I hang it up in my studio as just a funny way of remembering them. But here's my crazy cable wall. Eventually I'd like to get this figured out, maybe put it up here. These are all acoustic panels that I built. They were in my last studio, thanks to a nice light. Here is the couch and the wall hanger of guitars. These are all guitars I've featured on this channel before. My Novo Ceres J, Fender Custom Shop Journeyman Strat, Fender Custom Shop Heavy Relic Telly, Gibson ES339 with some new modifications. I'll talk about that soon. We did some cool things that are not necessarily visible. And then we have the JMJ Mustang, Fender Acoustasonic. Over here, because this is a working studio, I have, this is kind of what I call like the client, the artist convenience table. I have some pens, a couple of markers. This is just a general space for them to put their stuff. But right here, I have extra outlets for them. I have phone chargers and laptop chargers available, and then I also have a headphone out. This is just a headphone amplifier for the people who are sitting on the couch to be able to use. I can also connect up a microphone right there. It goes straight to my audio interface. So that's a nice little convenient thing to have there when I do have artists in. This is a nice little IKEA couch. It's kind of all right. You don't need super comfortable for a studio. If you're falling asleep in the couch in the studio, maybe that's not the best thing. All right, moving on. Here's some stuff that we maybe haven't seen in this channel yet. So I guess we'll start with the elephant in the room, which is my new amplifier. This is a 2-rock Bloomfield Drive 50 watt. So it's switchable between 50 watts and 25 watts. I have always wanted to get a 2-rock, and I was able to make it happen recently. I was lucky enough to be able to trade my Gibson Les Paul for this. I had a Custom Shop R8 Les Paul that I traded for this 2-rock. And on top of there, I have Universal Audio aux box. This is really helpful just for this room because this is an apartment. This is on the 3rd floor of an apartment building. So I'm not cranking these up. This is generally more so for storage than anything. We're not really being too loud with these loud amp cabinets. The matchless probably looks a little bit different too. I used to have a 212 cabinet for this. I traded that, and I've just recently gone to the matchless ESS, just in the matching color scheme. That's become a really convenient amplifier for me now. Just the head and the 112 cabinet. That 112 cabinet also works really great as like a Kemper cabinet as well. It also works great for my projector amp. So this is, I've talked about this a little bit, but this is an Austin Hooks modified Filmo Sound 385, one that Blake Mills uses. I had been looking for one of these amps for a while. Was able to pull it off. Yeah, very cool amp. We have the Kemper powered head right here. This is where I make a lot of the Kemper packs. This is also just a really fantastic place to have the Kemper for being always plugged in. It's what I do Zoom lessons with. It's what I practice with more often than not. It's always plugged in. It always sounds really good. I have set this up. So now the furniture in here, I have this Output furniture. The company Output makes the platform desk. They also make this sidecar right here. And this sidecar is set up in a way. Well, I guess for right now I've got the quad cortex on there. But it is set up in a way where I have, let's see if I can get that. Can you see that? That's a Chox power supply right in there, mounted it there all the time. And deep in there I've got more cables to where I can basically build a pedal board whenever I want in this area, run it through the Kemper, and so it becomes really like just a creation station for guitar tones. Right in here, got some picks. But yeah, that has been a really nice thing to have, that drawer right there, just being able to run up any guitar pedal I want at any time. I can also run it through any of these heads. You know, I can grab one of these heads, throw it on the top of this table right here, and just kind of craft tones. It's really fun, really easy, really quick. Got all the necessary kind of guitar cables in here. In here, a couple pairs of headphones, open back and closed back, hard drives. Down here, I don't have anything here, but this is kind of covering up the mess of cables that's in there, which I don't want to show you. Some acoustics. I haven't moved all of my guitars in here just yet. But there's my callings. I have this nice Cremona classical guitar. This is my baritone guitar, which you guys have seen from time to time. The relic job just kind of keeps getting worse, but you know what? It's cool. It's cool. And that's a Fender boat, by the way. That's a Fender guitar case boat. It's like in a G&G case. Pretty cool. Kind of worth the money. I think it looks really nice. Over here, that's a Strobo tuner by Peterson. Good Strobo tuner, not my favorite, but really nice. All right, getting to the desk. So, this desk was set up and optimized to be for production, but also to be for YouTube channel stuff. It's also meant to set up as a great place to practice, great place to teach lessons digitally. The monitor is on a VESA mount, so it can move around. Right now we're kind of in YouTube mode. I have my shotgun microphone up here. This is a Sennheiser MKE 600. I think I got that right. On a blue boom. Right here, this is the Elgato light. It's probably pretty bright. It's kind of blowing it out. And then right here, two things. All right, actually a couple of things. So that's an Elgato stand back there, and it's holding up my Sony a6400 with a shorter lens on it, so that it's a prime lens, so it lands right here. That is then feeding this. This is a Atmos Ninja 5, and that is handling like HDR processing. And then that feeds back into this teleprompter so that I can look at myself and feel like I'm having a natural conversation and kind of assess how I look and all that stuff. Just makes workflow a little bit easier, a little bit more simple. What's interesting about this too, though, is I can actually mirror my screen onto the teleprompter so that I can teach lessons. I can talk to someone face to face in a digital way, which is very cool. Zoom lessons, Zoom meetings, anything can be done really, really well here. Even virtual sessions, that can be a really cool thing to be able to talk to someone basically face to face. It's a bit of an overkill way of doing that, though. You know, all that to save just a couple of inches of eye contact, I guess. Ableton push here, push 2. This is just a rack of kind of some random stuff here. Paintbrush is always helpful to get dust off of things. A lot of camera gear. Genelecs, those are my monitors of choice. I've had those for 5 years. Those are the 8030Cs. Everything's running off of this Apple M1 MacBook. The interface is right there. That's the Apollo X6. The interface is there. It actually connects down below here to the U80 satellite, and then that all connects right here to this CalDigit USB hub. So I'm only going into the computer with one cable, which is really nice for workflow's sake, for when I have other producers in here who just want to plug into the system and then use my interface. It can make it really simple. Everything works really easily. Going on, I have my Fender Blues Jr. right here. This is a modified Fender Blues Jr. It was done by Drew Walters. It's got new old stock tubes in it. It's got what are called the Bill M mods. Sounds really good. It sounds like a Tweed amp. Down below that, the old tried and true Tone King Imperial, one of my favorite amps of all time. Just sounds super three-dimensional. So I've mounted a lot of lights. I have a lot of lights happening in here. I think lights are a really important aspect of a space. Specifically the temperature of the lights. So I set these to like 4,400 K, I think. I'm a musician, I'm not a lighting guy, so but I find that I can work in that light for quite a long time without feeling like I'm, feeling bored or fatigued or exhausted or anything. Here's some of the mics that I've got. I've shown these off before, but I've got a Neumann TLM 103 in here, stereo matched pair of KM 184s. But this is really all I use now is the Townsend Labs. This is just a modeling microphone. I'm a pretty big fan of this microphone. Just the fact that it's a stereo mic means that it's a lot simpler to use for like phase alignment and such. We have just some strings, some guitar parts, things like strap buttons, springs for the back of the Strat. Down here, this is another IKEA item. There's a person who recommended this to me on YouTube. I'll post his thing right here. I'll put it up in the corner. But yeah, he recommended this just because the top has the perfect fitting depth for simple pedals. Pedals that the standard height of pedals. So I'm able to fit a bunch of pedals in here. I actually just dismantled my pedal board, so that's why I have a bunch of them. And then down here, these larger ones are really good for trundle style pedals like this. Trundle meaning the wahs, volumes, expressions, etc. Some of these other ones, just kind of some miscellaneous gear. I'm gonna do a review on these pretty soon. If you guys are watching, that's coming. Right here, even more just kind of miscellaneous stuff. Straps, cables, OP1. This is, I think, more camera gear. Yeah, so that's the closet. I know, that was pretty fun. Cool. That is the studio, I think. Down here we just have a little bit of extra storage. Cables, power cables. I think back there I just have some like guitar polish and some maintenance stuff. Pretty simple stuff. So it's pretty exciting. I'm pretty happy to be in this new space. It's been something that I have honestly been thinking about for over a year. All the design elements of what I wanted to see in a new space. So now going forward, this channel just passed 1,000 subscribers a few months ago, which is so crazy to me. This has been a 2-year process of building out a little community here, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm really thankful to each and every subscriber. I have a couple really cool videos in the pipeline, one of which I'm gonna call my 1,000 subscriber special. It's gonna have a backing track element to it and a guitar lesson. Trust me, it's gonna be something your guys are gonna be stoked about, let's just say that. In addition to that, I have a video on a new pedal board in the works. I have a video on different kinds of in-ear monitors in the works, so some fun stuff coming up. So if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. But if you want to keep up with what I have going on, you can follow me at Daniel McLaughlin Music on Instagram. I occasionally post a story or go live. But hey, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.